Welcome, everybody, to the Hypnotic Sunday Service. I'm Evan Baumgardner. I'm board certified hypnotist at Elliott Bay Hypnosis in Seattle, Washington. And today we are going to be talking about hypnosis and if it can help you recover lost memories. But before we really dive into that, because it is a fascinating subject, I just want to let you know that there is still time to get in on my Black Friday special. I still have a few spots left. They're going fast. Go to EBHypno.com, book a call with me, and we'll see if your goals align with what I do and if it's right for you. And if we decide to work together, you'll get 5 sessions of hypnosis. It's my standard 5-session hypnotherapy package, and access to my Resolute Goal Manifestation program. And normally, like, the 5-session package would be $1,700. Resolute Goal Manifestation is $297. You will get them together for only $500 while this special is going on. And there are limited spots, so don't wait. There's never been a better time for change than right now. Go to EBHypno.com, book a call with me. Let's get you started and end 2024 strong and start 2025 with a amazing running start. So do not miss out on this. Go to EBHypno.com. Check that out. And to bring us to our topic today, can hypnosis bring back forgotten or lost memories? And this is something that gets asked a lot. It's one of those standard misconceptions around hypnosis and what it does, what it can do. The short answer is no. But there are some caveats. Now, there's a whole area called forensic hypnosis, and this is used to help heighten memory, kind of bring the recall details of a situation back to the forefront for, again, forensic purposes. So, like, okay, you witness a crime, you get like, oh, I saw the license plate. I can only remember 3 digits of it. I can't remember the other 3. Hypnosis can be used to help heighten that, remember the last 3. This is the caveat. This is, I think the cool use of forensic hypnosis is there's investigation that has to be done after that. Do those 3 digits match the car that they're looking for? Is there anything that would indicate that? So that's like testing to see if it is actually correct or not. There has to be that investigation part of it that goes along. Checking the work, verifying it. Is this actionable information that happens? It can be wrong. Just because, like, okay, these 3 things popped into your head, it doesn't mean it's right. But that's where, like, the actual investigation comes in, where they can go check and kind of run it down. This is why in courts, like, hypnotic testimony isn't allowed. Eyewitness testimony is, even that is spotty at best. If you have like 5 people that see the same thing, you'll end up with 5 different stories. And then you have to take the common parts and kind of piece together what exactly happened. And that's just kind of how our mind works. Memory is very malleable. And it's easy to plant false memories, create false memories. We create false memories all the time. Anytime you've misremembered something, that's a false memory. And hypnosis, if you're recalling something, it's no different than that. So, no, you can't really recall or bring back a forgotten memory. You might heighten something and that might make you remember, but then, like, how do you test for that? There has to be a thing. It doesn't mean it's going to be 100% accurate. Doesn't mean it's going to be 0% accurate, but it might not be 100% accurate of what you're looking for. I view it as very unreliable. We can use hypnosis to help recover lost objects. Oh, where did I put that? But if the information isn't in there, then it's not going to work. If a book falls out of your bag and you don't realize that until you get home, and then you can't find it, and you're like, "Oh, where did I put this?" But you don't have the information to recall because you never knew that the book fell out or where that happened. So hypnosis isn't going to help you recall that. And memory is very much based on emotion as well. I mean, we have, as human beings, built in a negativity bias. So things that we don't enjoy kind of stand out a little more. So if you look back on the day, like, you're going to remember the things that annoyed you more than the things that didn't have an emotional impact. And that's because of that negativity bias. And it's there. It's kind of a survival mechanism, like, our mind is always trying to move us away from discomfort and move us towards, like, pleasurable things for, like, the least amount of energy spent. So that's why we have this negativity bias. And that's why it's easier to remember those things. And I kind of view it as the mind is indexing everything, not based on, like, a sequence of events, not in an order, but it's kind of filing it away with this, like, weird, like, emotional filing system where it's like, okay, the angry, this goes in here, this goes in here. And you'll have stuff from across years kind of all mixed up together. And when we access it, when we access a memory, it is taking our current emotional state at the point of accessing into account. So that itself is going to, kind of influence the memory. But it's also going to start grabbing things and assembling this using kind of like our emotional state. Are we angry? Well, maybe, like, and we're trying to access a happy memory. Well, now maybe we're putting, like, more detail into it that wasn't there before. That's something from around that day that, we didn't enjoy. And it's kind of tainting that happy memory with the negative emotion of our current state, but then if we're in a good mood, we're looking back, we might find something that's like, kind of a not as pleasant time, but then, oh no, that was actually a really good day because we have, like, the happier emotional state that's doing the accessing. So it's putting those sort of layers onto the memory as it's assembling it. And it is like pulling Legos out of a box and putting it together versus, like, just popping a tape in and playing it back. It has to assemble everything, and the emotions very, very much influence that. And if we've forgotten something, or if we didn't know anything, there's going to be that void where we don't remember. And that is absolutely natural. Like, can you remember what everything that you did yesterday? No, you probably can't. You have a good idea of everything that went down, but if you were to try to break down hour by hour, minute by minute, everything that you did, it's not going to happen. I mean, unless maybe you have like a photographic memory. And even then, I don't think that you're going to get that sort of pinpoint accuracy on it. But that doesn't mean that you've just kind of forgotten everything. But we will fill in blanks. And this is why I don't like to do regression stuff. I tend to work content free with my clients because we're dealing with the emotions and not memories. Like, we can use memories to access the emotional state, access the thing that we want to change, and then work with that. But we are, at the end of it, we're working with the emotions. We're working with our association to that, our reactivity to the emotions or to situations that we experience, like with phobias. We don't have to find a root cause for it. I mean, because a lot of times there is none. It'll just be a series of things that's just made this association. But we take the emotions and that the situation when it activates, like with anxiety. Oh, excuse me. We're hardwired to feel anxiety. And if there's a situation like, oh, I'm having a panic attack when I'm in a crowded space or everything, it's not the crowded space. It's not the memory of a crowded space that is doing that. It's the emotions. It's the emotional association with that. So we neutralize it. We work with the emotions, not actually the memory. But if we can know, all right, this is a scenario, we can use it to access the emotions, but we're not changing a memory. What's happened. Yeah. We want to adjust the way we're reactive to it. We want to give ourselves back the power of choice to react to it in the way we would rather do. So if we're like, okay, well, I don't remember all of this, and you want to recover a memory from childhood, something that maybe you've forgotten, or you're like, I don't remember all of this. If I look back, I'm like, there are, I know that this was, want to say this was in 1989. It turns out it was in 1987. That's how easily we can get mixed up. If you, say, went on a family vacation every summer, you went to the beach, and you always went to the same beach, and you always rented the same beach house with your family, and you were there, and you're pulling memories in. Again, that filing system is based on emotion. And it's going, oh, okay, beach. Yeah, we've got that. Here's the location of that. Here are the memories. It's got it all jumbled together. So it will start pulling things out. And if there's a gap, it's just going to start grabbing things and filling it in. So it'll be very easy to mix up two different trips from like 2 different years, maybe like even a couple years apart. And you'll remember that and you'll be like, oh, yeah. And wait. And you're not going to know the difference because they are memories, but it's jumbled together. It's not giving you the exact sequence. And then you have to do the investigative work to go, oh, wait, no, this wasn't this year. It was this. So when it comes to actual memories and bringing back forgotten ones, it's, there are so many caveats because like what you can recall, it's not necessarily true. You could completely fabricate something. If there is a void there and you're like, I want to fill it in, whatever preconceived notions you have, especially with an emotional charge attached to it, your mind might start to conflate stuff and generate this to fill this in because you're asking it to do that. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. And maybe it is pulling in things that did happen, things that were likely in there, but you can't trust it 100%. It's not necessarily reality. So I don't like to mess with that. If don't think of a pink elephant. You start thinking of a pink elephant. And that's what it's like. It's very easy once you go down that road to slip up for somebody to ask a leading question that's going to make you start thinking of things down a path, and then you will start altering memories yourself. You will start fabricating memories yourself. And you do this enough, then you can play it back. And it's going to seem, oh, whoa, I remember this. But you made it up. There are people that have, there's a video from a show called Hellier, I believe. And these guys were like UFO hunting. And one of the guys was a skeptic. And of course, they didn't see any UFOs. So they wanted to make a video. So they got a hypnotist to come in, hypnotize the guy to give him the experience of having been abducted by an alien. Again, this guy was a skeptic. And he goes through the whole thing. And it was very similar. It's like, oh, yeah, and I see like lights from a car. And he goes, but those weren't car lights, were they? And that's that suggestion, that leading sort of question. He gets, oh, well, no, it was a spaceship. And now it was all this. So when he comes out, he remembers it and he knows that it wasn't real. But because of what they were doing, what they were asking for, it then feels real. And it changed his outlook on aliens. And he didn't like talking about it after that, which they showed. And I found that super interesting. But again, and that's why I don't like to mess with that. I don't need to. In order to get my clients changes, we don't have to do that. And maybe something comes up, but is there a way? How are you going to validate it? There's a, I remember seeing some commercial. It's stuck with me for a long time, and then it just me and a friend of mine, we remembered this, but nobody else did. It was this weird commercial, and then eventually, like, we found it on YouTube, and when we watched it, yeah, okay, this is the commercial, but it definitely wasn't the same as we would describe it to each other, or entirely what we remembered. The the overall idea of it was there enough for us to recognize it, but it was very, very different than what my memory of that commercial was. There's other things where it's like, oh, I swear that was like a brown sweater. No, it was green when you actually see like the video of it. And it's like, well, that's okay. That's different, but that's how sort of malleable our memory is. So no, hypnosis is not a good way to recover forgotten memories. If you want to work with emotions surrounding something, that's fine, but we don't need to dig up memories to change the way we are reactive to the emotions that we feel. And this is my issue with regression, and why I don't do it unless it is the absolute right choice for the client. Like, okay, we need to do this, but that's like very rare that I'm going to run into something where we actually have to do regression to get the change. And because whatever we pull up isn't necessarily a memory, it's not necessarily real. But afterwards, it can feel real. And they might think that it is, but I'm like, you can't treat it as gospel. And I don't want my clients walking away with something that they possibly just completely generated in their head that isn't real, and thinking it's real. That just feels unethical to me. It's not the way I want to work. And if we're doing like past life regression kind of thing, and that's what I would be more likely to do than actual age regression. And the reason for that is because we don't know if it's real or not. I am of the idea that it is not real. We have one life, and that's that. But it also, if you're doing that, it doesn't matter, because odds are, if you're doing a past life regression, you're looking to explore something, and you're not messing with like your actual memories of this life. You're going out somewhere, it's generating a story that you need to hear to affect change, essentially a metaphor. That will help you change what you want to change in this life. So people might think it's real, that's fine. They might not think it's real, that's fine too, as long as like the outcome, the goal is what they're looking for with that, with the understanding that maybe it isn't. There's no way to tell. Versus like age regression, where you could make stuff up, and like things could come in, and then you leave thinking that this is like completely true, but it's not. It was just what your brain generated because it thought that that was what you needed at that time. And that is a lot different than a past life kind of thing. Even, I do work with parallel realities and kind of tapping into the energy of a parallel reality where you've already achieved like the goal that you want to achieve in this reality. There's a reality where, like, okay, one thing was different, everything is different. Yeah, and where there's a parallel reality where I'm doing this, but I weigh 30 pounds less and I'm wearing a black shirt. You know, that sort of thing. But again, that's energetic, and it doesn't matter if that's real or not. You don't have to believe it because you're still making the changes in your mind, but you're not messing like with your memories. So there are so many different ways to go about getting changes, very effective ways that don't require memories or digging that up. And even if somebody was to use hypnosis and go, oh, I can't remember what happened here, and they take you into hypnosis, go to this time when you were like 10 years old and remember this. I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't believe it. Because what's the emotional state that you're in at the time you're doing that? What do you think you're going to find that might influence what the brain generates instead? And what is it just going to make up like a dream? To just fill that in because you're asking it to. Our subconscious wants to give us whatever we ask it for. So we just have to be careful with that. But that is hypnosis and memory. It's a complicated kind of thing. Memories are complicated. They're malleable. It's a fragile thing, and I don't like to mess with it. I want to empower my clients and get them being in the here and now and moving forward, present solution oriented, and trying to remember something or using that we can often use as an excuse to stay stuck. And with the risks of, is it real? Is it not real? Are we actually recovering memories with no way to check that? I'm not going to do it. And I find it unethical. But all right, so that is all for today. Again, I have a Black Friday special going. It's going this week or until all the spots are full. Go to EBHypno.com, book a call with me. You can get five sessions of hypnotherapy, $500, plus the Resolute Goal Manifestation System, which is going to be an awesome program. And I mean, it already is awesome, but then in January, when we start doing the group work with that, you're really going to see a lot of differences. And this is an amazing price. Again, it's normally $19.97 for both of these, and you can get it right now for only $500. So go to EBHypno.com, book a call. Do not miss out on this. And till next time, be seeing you.